a moment. Meadowbrook was a small town. You could walk from one end to the other in about 20 minutes if you walked slowly. People knew each other. They said hello on the street. Life was simple here, not easy, but simple. The houses were old, gardens were neat, trees lined the streets. It was a good place, a quiet place, a place to raise a child. Daniel thought so. Spring would come to Meadowbrook, slowly at first, then all at once. Flowers bloomed, bright colors, yellows and pinks. The air smelled fresh, birds sang their songs. Daniel and Mia would walk in the park. Mia would chase butterflies. Daniel would watch. A small smile on his face. Life felt new, full of promise, like the spring flowers. They picked daisies for a jar on the kitchen table. Then came autumn. The leaves turned gold and red and brown. They crunched underfoot. The air grew crisp, a little sad maybe, like saying goodbye. Daniel worked at the old lumber mill just outside town. The machines were loud. The work was hard. Lifting, carrying, sawing wood. His hands were rough, calloused. He smelled of pine and sweat. At the end of the day, he was tired, bone-tired. But he never complained, not out loud. He did what he had to do. For Mia, always for Mia. The pay was not much, enough to get by most of the time, but worries were always there. Little whispers in his mind, the rent, the bills. Mia needed new shoes soon. What if she got sick? He tried to save a little. Each week it was hard, so hard. Sometimes he skipped a meal, just coffee, so Mia could have more. These were his secrets, his silent sacrifices. He came home each evening covered in sawdust. His back ached, his mind was full, but when he saw Mia running to meet him. One evening after Mia was asleep, Daniel sat by the window. The moon was full. It cast long shadows. He opened an old wooden box. Inside were photos, memories. He picked one up. It was Sarah, Mia's mother, his wife. She was smiling. Her eyes sparkled like stars. He remembered that day, a picnic by the lake before Mia, when life was different. He remembered her laugh. It was like music. It filled their small house with joy, with light. She loved to dance in the kitchen while cooking. He would watch her and smile. They had dreams, so many dreams, for their future, for their family. They talked for hours about everything and nothing. Life felt so full then, so complete. He missed that so much. Then came the sickness. It came quietly, like a thief in the night. It took her away. Too soon, too fast. The doctors tried, but it was no use. Section 5. The cracks appear. A father's breaking point. It was a Tuesday, a grey, cold Tuesday. Everything went wrong. The old car wouldn't start. He was late for work. The boss was angry. A machine broke at the mill. More delays, more stress. Then a call from Mia's school. She had a fever. He had to leave work early again. He felt the stares of his co-workers, the unspoken judgment. It was a heavy day that evening after Mia was asleep. After he gave her medicine, after he checked her temperature again and again. Daniel sat at the kitchen table, the weight on his shoulders. It felt like a mountain, too heavy to carry. He felt so alone, so tired, tired of being strong, tired of pretending, tired of the struggle. For a moment, just a moment, he wanted to give up. The house was dark, silent, except for the hum of the old refrigerator. He put his head in his hands. Tears welled up. He fought them back. He couldn't cry. He had to be strong. The next day, Mia felt better. Her fever was gone. She went back to school. Daniel felt a little lighter, but the memory of last night, it stayed with him. Later that afternoon, Mia came home, her eyes shining. She held a piece of paper tightly in her hand. "Daddy, look," she said, her voice full of excitement. She was so proud. Daniel looked at the drawing. It was made with bright crayons. A tall figure with a big smile and strong arms. The figure wore a cape, a blue cape, like a superhero. Next to the tall figure was a smaller figure holding its hand. "Who is this, sweetie?" Daniel asked. He thought it was a character from a storybook or a cartoon. Mia giggled. "It's you, Daddy," she said. "You are my hero." She pointed to the drawing. "See? You are strong and you always help me." Daniel looked at the drawing again. He saw himself through his daughter's eyes. That little drawing, Mia's hero, it changed something deep inside Daniel. He started to see that maybe, just maybe, he didn't have to do everything alone. Maybe asking for help wasn't a sign of weakness. Maybe it was a sign of strength for Mia. He thought about it a lot. As spring returned to Meadowbrook, bringing new life, new hope, Mrs. Gable lived next door. She was kind, always smiling. She had offered before to watch Mia after school sometimes. Daniel had always said no, politely. "Thank you, but we're fine." He didn't want to be a burden. He wanted to manage on his own. But now he thought of Mia's drawing. He thought of her bright eyes. He wanted more for her, more joy, less worry. One sunny afternoon, Mrs. Gable was in her garden, tending her roses. She waved at Daniel. He walked over to the fence. He took a breath. Summer arrived in Meadowbrook like a warm hug. The days were long and lazy and golden. The sun shone brightly. School was out. Mia was full of energy, full of laughter. Daniel felt it too, a lightness in his heart. He still worked hard, but things felt different, easier somehow. He wasn't carrying the world all by himself anymore. They spent more time together, real time, not just routines. They had picnics in the park under the big oak tree, peanut butter sandwiches and lemonade. Mia would tell him stories about her day with Mrs. Gable, about her dreams. Daniel listened. He really listened. He laughed. Genuine laugh. It felt good, so good. Laughter had been a stranger for too long. The town held its annual summer fair. Lights, music, the smell of popcorn. Mia's eyes were wide with wonder. Daniel took her on the Ferris wheel. They could see the whole town from up high. It looked peaceful, beautiful. Life, you see, it is often made of small moments, quiet moments. The ones we don't always notice, a shared glance, a gentle touch, a silent sacrifice. These are the threads that weave the fabric of our lives. Daniel knew this now. He felt it in the rhythm of his days, in the warmth of Mia's hand in his. These moments mattered most. Heroes, we think of them as loud, with capes and superpowers like in Mia's drawing. But sometimes heroes are quiet. They don't seek applause. They don't want recognition. They just do what needs to be done, with love, with courage. Daniel was that kind of hero, a quiet hero for his daughter. His love was his superpower, his dedication, his shield.